All right, up until now, we have worked with the Python API for transforming columns into other columns. So we had a way to reference columns and to apply functions to them so that we transform the values within the columns. Now I want to show you how we can work with multiple rows. And the first thing I want to show you is how we can sort the data frame. So we want to bring the rows in a data frame into a particular order given a certain condition. And the method we use for that, we call on a data frame. So we say df.sort, and as with select, for example, we can pass in a number of column names as strings, or also column transformations or column expressions. So we pass in column objects. Now, the first thing I want to show you is how we can use it with simply specifying the column name. So that would sort our data frame by the column date in an ascending order. The second thing would be to use a column reference. So we use the column date again, but now we have a column object. On this column object, as we saw previously in the documentation, we can, for example, also call descending, which is a function on the column and specifies that the sort order for that column should be descending. So this statement in our program would tell Spark that we wanted to sort the df data frame by the column date in a descending order. What we could also do is specify an entire transformation. So for example, we could use date add as we did previously. We specify the column, add 2 days, and on that transformed column we would like to apply a descending order sort. However, we would not create a new column in our data frame, so we wouldn't actually see the result of that transformation, but rather we use it as sort criteria. So additionally, we can also sort by multiple columns. So we can say, for example, df date descending, and the secondary sort criteria should be on the close column. So for example, the data frame will be sorted by the date column descending, and only if there are 2 dates with the same value, so they don't have a particular ordering, we would apply a secondary sort criteria, which is the closing price, which will be by default in an ascending order. So if we don't specify the order, so ascending or descending, it will be by default ascending. I don't know why I removed this now. So it was date, and this we want to do in a descending order. And the secondary sort criteria will be the close price in an ascending order. So that's how we can sort data frames. And I can execute this now so that we can see the results of them. So there will be multiple outputs of this, and we're gonna see them soon. And yeah, that's basically everything there is about sorting. So we already know how we can specify columns. We already know how we can apply column transformations, and we can use all of these things also within the sort criteria we're specifying. So we have a small error here. It says, let me check, PySpark type error, not column or string, argument col should be a column or string, got a method. So it was, in which line is it? It's here. So the problem with our small error is that we are trying to call the descending method, but actually what we did is we passed in the function itself instead of calling it. So we should have the 2 columns here to indicate that we actually want to call this method so that we apply a sort order to our date, and we don't want to just simply pass in the entire function. That was the error statement we saw. It basically said it's expecting a string or a column expression, not a function. And now I was not so attentive, so the first one worked now, but we have the very same problem down here, where we also specify descending with or without the parenthesis. So we were passing in a function rather than a column, and the same thing we have here. So now it should work actually. But it's good to have some errors so that you can see what the error message would look like if you experience the same. And yeah, these computers are quite picky with what they expect us to do. And yeah, here we go. Now it's working. We see our data frame sorted. So all of the columns remain present. The transformation we specify in this as the sort criteria will not be added to our data frame. Rather, it's used internally as sort criteria. And yeah, we can see that the data frame, like the first one, is sorted in ascending order by date. The second one is sorted in descending order by date. So the newest date we have in our data is from 2020 of April and so on. So that's about sorting. Please go ahead in the assignment and apply these sorting techniques to your data frame to get familiar how you can pass in functions, so transformations on columns or column names.